artists at it. You know? So we changed locations to our own spot, which coincidentally is the Frederick Douglass Family Initiatives. So we just left the first Underground Railroad station, and now we're hiding under the Frederick Douglass building, you know? So ain't that spiritual, man? Yeah. Had to duck off from that rain. So I guess there's some severe rainstorm. You know, it is what it is. So let's go back to Daniel 7. We can start at 6 again. And we're going to get some information. It's polluted.
Yeah.
All right, read that.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 6. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
Right, representing Alexander the Greek, which the Josephus goes into it, how Alexander the Greek actually spoke to the priests, and they showed him that he's this guy.
Yep.
You know, so he didn't treat us with ill intent. It wasn't until prophecy rose up that wicked root, Antiochus the Fourth. All right? Just like you got certain Edomites that weren't as wicked to us, per se.
Right.
But the laws they passed were wicked unto us. You know, everyone liked Clinton, but I think Clinton came up with the 3-strike rule. You know?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. He may not necessarily seem as bad, but in actuality he is. But it's levels to evil in Esau's rulership. I'll say that.
The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast,
Rome.
Dreadful and terrible.
Yeah, it was dreadful and terrible to all the other empires. Just like the Greeks were considered madmen for going against Persia and the Medes, but the reason why they won was because of prophecy. So at the end of the day, prophecy happens, at the end of the day, the actions or advancements of man and prosperity is of the Lord. But that's where pride sets in, you know?
And strong exceedingly.
Military might.
And it had great iron teeth.
Iron Age.
It devoured and brake in pieces.
Nations. It broke nations to pieces. You know? It reminds me of the movie Gladiator. You know, you lost in war, and they would take you captive, and you'd either join their military, you know, or fight for entertainment in their coliseums. And those are Edomites. These are what Esau does. This is why Esau obtained I'm going to go into it, but this is how Esau obtained Puerto Rico, the Philippines. He's a colonist. He occupies colonies, Hawaii, okay? Amalek, Israel, all right? Just like British. British had Elam under his thumb.
Yep.
Esau's a colonist, all right? He's a conqueror. That's why they call him the conquistadors. That's why he said he wants Greenland.
Yeah, yep.
This is now going to be the Gulf of America. That's his mind. You know, to call lands after his name.
Yep.
Keep going.
And stamp the residue with the feet of it.
Yep, destroy their culture. Destroy their economy. Destroy their customs. Make them use your money. Put them in debt. Occupy their land. Set up battlements with battalions. Didn't he do that to Jerusalem as the Greeks?
Yeah. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
Because they didn't have a monarchy. Keep going.
And it had 10 horns.
Right, going into the 10 regions, which really, when you look at those 10 ancient Roman regions, that's like the 10 horns today for NATO and EU. You know? Keep going.
I considered the horns, and beheld, there came up among them another little horn.
Yep, which is America.
Yep. Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
So when you look at what you call American history, when they came over here to the Americas, you got to understand that there were a series of wars that declared America's dominance and independence. The first horn, it said horns, 3 horns, right?
Yeah.
The first horn that was plucked up was the French, and that was the French-Indian War.
Yep.
And then the second horn that was plucked up was the Brits, which was the Revolutionary War. And then the third horn that was plucked up was the Spanish War. So now when you go into history, those 3 wars solidified America's dominance.
Right.
People don't understand that. I asked ChatGPT, how did the French-Indian War, the Revolutionary War, and the Spanish War benefit America?
Question.
And ChatGPT, that shit took like 30 seconds to answer. I said, damn, what is it, loading? So I asked it a question, and then it finally responded and said, great question.
Right.
Each of these wars, the French and Indian War, the American Revolutionary War, and the Spanish-American War, had significant impacts on the development and rise of the United States.
Wow.
So that's
Yep.
what established Babylon to what it is today.
Yep.
And you go into it, the French-Indian War, it cleared European rivals from American land and stirred rebellion against the British. Okay? Because it's called the French and Indian War because Gad was allied with the French to fight against the British, and the colonists were allied with the British to fight against the French.
That is fine. Right.
So, Rev 6, they shall make war.
Got it right here.
Read that, please.
Rev 6, excuse me, Revelation 6:4. And there went out another horse that was red and powered.
Red because he came out all over like the hairy garment.
Right.
He came out over with his blood showing forth through his skin because he was given the mark of Cain.
Right.
Not the skin mark of Buddha. He was given the mark of Cain. Okay? Keep going.
And power was given to him
See?
that sat thereon to take peace from the earth,
Yup.
and that they should kill one another.
Boom. So he had to kill one another to establish dominance. The third woe is them killing one another
Right.
to establish dominance.
Right.
Keep going.
And it reads, and there was given unto him a great sword.
That's his blessing.
That was the.
But his sword, the water. But his sword evolved.
Right.
Okay? The arrow or the sword evolved into a missile. Now, when you go into it, it says the French and Indian War cleared European rivals from American land and stirred rebellion against the British. Now, why? Because when it comes to war, it comes taxes. The tea tax.
Right. Yep.
So then the colonists are like, yo, I know we gotta get rid of the French, but now the British is tyrannical against us pilgrims that are here. So after the French and Indian War, that led to the Revolutionary War.
Right.
Hence why the Constitution is biblical. When they declared their independence, that was prophecy. It says the Revolutionary War established U.S. as an independent nation. So if you want independence, you need war.
Right. Exactly. Hence why they have a Declaration of Independence.
What are you gonna say, Crowder Zabba?
I have a question.
Yeah.
David, you feel like that's what they're doing now?
Yes.
Raising prices to fund their war?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just like
Yes. Everything's being set up. Everything's being set up right now to put them in a better materialistic economic position to be able to fund war. Because he said, what Tupac said, everybody? They
Yep.
got money for war, but not to feed the poor.
Yep.
So then, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because one should say, wait a minute. When they were having a war take place, the French-Indian War was 1754. We landed here in 1619. So what was Jake's position while he was going to war declaring independence for himself?
Right.
Esau will go to war to declare his own independence, but not for you.
Yep.
Then it
Yep.
says, the Spanish-American War launched the U.S. onto a world stage as an imperial power.
Wow.
So those three wars that are mentioned in Daniel 7 have extremely impactful advancement for Babylon to be what it is today. Now, in the midst of that, what was going on with Jake, right? You got it right? Because you're like, okay, thank you, Mr. Social Security, social history teacher. What was it called? Social studies? Social studies.
Yeah, history.
History, right?
Yeah.
So what was your history in that? It says, because I be having ChatGPT on the run. You know what I mean?
Real.
So then I asked, what was enslaved Africans' part during the French War?
Great question.
During the Revolutionary War. And it said, enslaved Africans, they gave labor support. They worked for colonial armies, especially the British and the American colonists.
Slavery.
Now the term patriot didn't come out until the Revolutionary War, because that was a term that they coined as being patriotic to a country against a tyrannical government, Britain,
Wow.
Britannia.
Oh, it makes sense when they had a movie called The Patriot.
Exactly.
What's his name?
Mel Gibson.
Great movie, by the way.
Which he was plagued by the French Indian War, because what he had to do.
Edifying right there.
So it says labor support, slavery, Deuteronomy 28:68. So he can go to war and your ass will still be in slavery.
Wow, man. Oh shit! It said labor support.
Yeah.
That's slavery, man.
You know, it's Babel. It's Babel. It's Babel.
Right.
So you know what I mean. You're not an employee. You're a operational director of support.
Right.
That should sound good.
You're the operations of faculty.
Yes. Slave. And guess what? All you're doing is putting cookies out. You know, you're the operations director of events.
Oh, Esau, man.
Get sandwiches and put it on a table for my white people.
This is crazy.
It says enslaved Jakes worked for colonial armies, especially the British and the American colonists, doing heavy labor like building forts. That reminds me of Exodus.
Yep.
Rigor.
You want that?
Yeah.
I got you.
So you weren't just in cotton fields. Whatever happens to Babylon, you're the cleanup crew.
Water,
Yep.
cleaning up bodies.
Oh, you said fetching water? Get Judges 5 and 11. What did the brother just say? Fetching water. Is that biblical?
Yes.
C.
Exodus 1 and verse 11. I'm going to start at verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it came to pass that when they were fallen out any war, they joined also unto our enemies.
So look at what the Egyptians said. If we go to war, they could join the enemy side.
Right.
So Esau was aware of this. Are we not in Egypt again?
Yep.
So these Egyptians knew if war broke out, they potentially could side with them and overtake us.
Right.
Just like that's why Gad went with the French, but it was Esau.
Right.
That's why they forced Jake with the British, but that was Esau. That's why they said, if you fight for us, we'll free you,
Yep.
but you still are enslaved by Esau.
And it reads, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters
Overseers.
to afflict them with their burdens.
Yep.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Python and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
Just like Esau today. Now,
It's a little much like it.
all right, did you hear about that plantation that just burned down? So that plantation was built in 1860. That's 5 years before he freed your ass. So you gotta think, he didn't let up on the slave labor. He kept it going till last tooth and nail.
Turn that shit to mass production.
Exactly.
Overdrive.
Exactly. He wrings you out whatever he can get from you. That's why your ass is working so much now.
Yeah.
And going back to work, why when the DEI project died, why did they said 30 to 100,000 black women lost their job? Now you got a reason to have an attitude.
Yep.
Now you just niggas with attitudes. But don't have it towards us. Keep going.
And it reads, verse 13, and And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
Boom.
And they made their lives bitter.
Boom.
With hard bondage.
Yep.
In mortar and in brick. And in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
Wow. So look at how, so you can't just say, we built the White House. You gotta go before that.
Yeah.
Because, fun fact, White House, first president, George Washington had a failed attempt to fight against the French because he was a general for the British. George Washington fought for the British before he fought for America. Okay?
We cleared the land too.
Wow.
We didn't just build it, we cleared the land.
Yep. And it says, enslaved Africans worked for colonial armies, especially the British and the American colonists, because at that time, the Americans were just colonists. They had colonies. That's why when they declared their independence, they had 13 colonies. It's a ritual.
Right. Damn, man.
Do it. Listen what Jake was doing. Heavy labor, like building forts. Look here, fort. Building forts, transporting supplies, and clearing land.
Wow.
Is that not today?
That's literally today, bro.
You clear land, you cultivate. How many brothers are truck drivers? How many brothers are in construction? And then look, he always gave you non-combatant roles.
Wow.
They were often cooks,
Wow.
servants, aides to officers or militia leaders.
Big house.
Put no gunning in
Kitchen.
It says rarely soldiers. Slaves were not usually armed or used in direct combat during this war, though there were some exceptions.
Wow.
So when you look back at the history of just the French-Indian War, look at the enslavement that you were doing. Now, let's go to the American Revolution, right?
Yes.
We gotta have a revolution. We want a revolution. Don't they say that, right?
That gay ass dude.
Right? So let's see what your role was during the American Revolution. You got a precept?
I'm gonna get Isaiah 19.
Okay. Oh, get Jeremiah 15:33. They refuse to let him go.
Gotcha. Oh, perfect.
You hold anything?
Perfect.
What do we call for?
Judges.
Oh, read that. Judges 5 and 11.
Yep.
Read that. Yeah. Yes. Written, yep.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 11.
Yep.
They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water.
What's the archers? Yep, the nukes. Keep going. In the places of drawing water. Because in the time of Joshua, you had some smart ass, some slick ass Hamites that basically tried to supplant and had tattered clothes saying, we come from afar. We just want to be servant unto you. So we made a deal with them and said, you'll be fetchers of water and wood. Even though afterwards we found out they lied, but we still honored our vow to them. See? But the fetchers of wood and water represent slavery. Like Nehemiah was a cupbearer to a king. Because I had misspoke, I said Nahum, but it was Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a cupbearer. That's why the king said, what's wrong? And he allowed Nehemiah to go back to rebuild. Okay? So this is why you're a bartender. That's why I was a bartender. You know? When you really look at the jobs you get, it's a servant.
Yeah.
Where Jake women at? All you Jake women are nurses now. No, you're a mammy.
Mammy in the big house.
Okay?
Yep.
You're a mammy. You're a babysitter. Eyes pretty. Eyes pretty. Fucking, what was that? That slave woman movie? Servant or something? Help or something?
Oh yeah, the help.
Yeah, the help.
Yep.
Eyes pretty.
Ah.
Eyes so pretty.
If master's sick, we sick too.
Come on, man. That shit is a damn.
But then on top of that too, if you look at it, it's like a time lapse.
Yeah.
Like we still are in the land where our ancestors were you know, like they were in slavery, like literally.
But the only difference is now we can stand up and curse your ass out after we clean your toilets. You know? You little shitty monsters. You nasty ass heathen. You people are disgusting in real life. Listen, brothers and sisters, you ain't missing shit in these high offices, because I be up in them. Okay? These big buildings, they all stink. We know exactly how businesses are ran in Babylon. They're base, they're low level, They're full of processed food, carbs, tension, passive aggression, demons, and bed wenches.
Yep.
Keep going.
Now take the enemy's side before they take your side.
Yep. Yep.
Judges 5 and 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the places of drawing water, there they shall rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord.
There. Now, are we rehearsing? So that's why we don't, well, one, we're under grace. So that's why we don't get too crazy about the law. We're all rehearsing. Okay? You got a whole camp pushing the law, but then they're going Friday to Saturday, every Friday to Saturday as a Sabbath with edge-ups on. You're low level, man. You're low level. You're fleshlights.
Yeah.
You're lawites.
Yeah.
Okay?
Carnalites.
Yeah, you're carnalites, man. We're here rehearsing. In a rehearsal, you're supposed to get it wrong to get the kinks out.
Right.
That's why I said with stammering lips.
Right.
It's not going to look perfect all the time. You're not going to be perfectly fluid in the Hebrew.
Right.
You
ain't gonna make every shot, man.
No, you're not going to make every shot. You may want to, and then you got to learn, I can't, Tommy.
Oh, man.
Keep going.
Verse 11. Even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel.
That was the point. So we were drawers of water, fetchers of wood, like now. Servants. So now let's see what happened during the Revolutionary War. What was Jake's position in that? Because people don't ever sit back and think, oh, shameful spewing upon that glory. Because here it is, he'll brag on July 4th. But what was Jake doing? He'll brag about the Louisiana Purchase. But what was Jake doing? Why do they speak French? Because that's who defeated you. Why do you speak Spanish? Because that's who defeated you. Why do you speak English? Because that's who defeated you. Yep. Why are they going to speak the last one with us? Because that's who defeated them.
Right.
The first word they're going to learn is Salakia. Watch. So that's a tall tale sign, right? The money you spend in the language you speak.
Yeah.
That's why Gad, they would beat Gad. They would beat Gad in the boarding school not to speak his tongue. And I watched this video of this Gadite, and damn near made me cry. He was crying how he said they beat my tongue out of me. Every time I spoke Cree, they beat it out of me. Well, we're speaking now.
Right.
So Shalak Tazma Mashapayim all babal.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
You got that, brother?
Habakkuk 2 and 16. Thou art filled with shame for glory.
Shame. 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 Shame.
Shame.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Shameful spewings.
Right.
Oh, you want to talk about the Revolutionary War? From who? From what perspective?
Right. And it reads, drink thou also.
Well, let me before we go there, let me read it real quick. So while the British, who are wicked as hell, were fighting against the American colonists, who are wicked as hell, who declared their independence after 13, representing their servitude as Freemasons to Lucifer, funded by the Rothschilds, who owned the bank since what date, brothers? 1654. Come on, we got to remember that.
Yep.
That's why we always go into that. That's Amalek.
Yep.
Amalek controlled 95% of the slave ships that brought us over here. All right? So let's see what happened to Jake. Here it is, masters going to war, and you just a slave baby watching white men fight each other while calling you a nigger. It says, this is what the British offered you. Okay? This is what the British offer you. So don't be surprised if an opposing Edomite army tries to have some talking points for you for freedom. That's why he said you ain't gonna do to us. Putin said you ain't gonna do to us what you did to the Native Americans. But Putin knows what they did to the Native Americans, but what's Putin doing about what happened to the Native Americans? That's why I said no man shall buy you. Stink ass smoke, man. It says British promised freedom. It says we'll be delivered out of Babylon, but not by Esau. Oh, did we get Jeremiah 15:33? He refused to let us go. So how is he going to promise you freedom if the Bible says he refused to let us go? The Emancipation Proclamation was from private to state owned. You went from private property to public property, man.
Jeremiah 15:33. Thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Oppression, authority with cruelty. All right, burning your lip to put a metal ring over it so they could keep your mouth shut while you worked in the slave field. Starving you while you work. Starving you while you work.
Wearing chains for 18 hours straight.
Heavy chains too, baby chains. Okay? That's what he was doing. Now it's mental chains. Now the chains are financial. Haggai 1 and 6, bring in much holes in your bag.
Yep.
But see, he's tricked you with a little bit of toys, so now you don't give a shit about your nation in a hole. You don't care about your nation as long as you got your processed food.
Yep.
As long as you got your likes, your car, your gas. You ain't shit, man.
Yep.
You ain't about your people, man. Because a woman ain't our savior.
Yep. You believe that?
Yeah.
This is the book of Haggai, chapter 1, verse 6. Ye have sown so much.
Sown.
So
adamant.
much.
So, from can't see to can't see. Working hard. I watched the video today. She said, I work hard. I work so hard. And in the Jake, his resting face was sorrow. He had just bags under his eyes. He had a face of defeat. But then you had an Edomite come out and say, there was a fleet of so-called black men that came out of ship that had a face of never being defeated. So wait till Yahushua comes back.
Right.
Keep going.
And bring in little.
Bring in little. Come on, man. $200 when you pass go.
Yeah.
And then that $200 is taxed after you pass go. This is a controlled, monopolized system that keeps you at the bottom. It's a system. It's designed this way. So don't you come up here and tell me that I should march with you for reparations. Because that won't. Why do our people want reparations, but they don't want removal?
Right. Right.
Why don't you want to leave the prison? You just want the ability to buy what you want of commissary in the prison.
Leave this fucking place.
Keep going.
And bring in little.
Yup.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
You're not satisfied. You're not satisfied.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
Yup.
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes.
Boom. So it's a rigged system against you. So why would you? So if you get reparations, that money's gonna trickle right back to him.
Yep.
That money's gonna trickle right back to him, bro.
Damn.
Like Monopoly.
Damn, bro.
He owns the bank. He decided you got $200 when you pass go. He charged $500 for Boardwalk, so you can't buy it. Put that shit together. It's a controlled system. But when Esau got here, it was $10 to $20 for a plot of land, whites only. But now when you could buy the land, it's X and X amount of dollars to now get that land.
Yep.
What they say, the golden rule? He who has the gold makes the rule?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Let me right back in this. So it says British promised freedom to enslaved people who joined them. So if you join me, the Brits, who didn't give a shit about you from 1619 till now, he didn't give a shit about you during the French Indian War. He didn't give a shit about your brother during conquering Gad. What about when the Trail of Tears? But now he's gonna free you, and you believe him? It says he's the father of lies.
Yeah.
And it says thousands fled to British lines. So a whole bunch of Jakes ran to Massa, like today. Woe to you that go to Egypt for help. So you got to accept the fact majority of our people were born in vain. So within vanity, they're drawn to vanity. And Esau's the king of vainness. Liver king, he's a vain king.
Yeah, that's right.
He that's a king today, tomorrow shall die. And then it says, and then Lord Dunmore proclamation of 1775, wait a minute, but 1776, May 1st, started the Illuminati. Yep. Then also in June, created the independence from Britain. And then guess what the British called Jakes? Black loyalists. So he made you a loyalist to the British economy or empire. And then the Americans declared their independence in 1776, but they didn't declare your independence from him. And then look, let's keep going. So that's what the British said for Jake. Now look at what the Babylonian Edomites, who are the patriots, now said. They said some northern colonies, where are we at? in upstate Northern America.
Yeah.
This is the north. We're in north. We're in north. We just left the first underground railroad station and fled to Frederick Douglass Family Initiative.
Yeah.
It ain't shit changed but the watch, the clock, the laws.
Yep.
It says patriots or American colonists, some northern colonies allowed enslaved men to fight in exchange for freedom. We're gonna give you freedom.
That's deception.
About 5,000 African Americans served in the Continental and Army and Navy. But guess what your role was, nigger? Because just because you're there now,
Right.
you ever see Tuskegee Flightmen?
Yeah.
You know, you ever see what was it, Anton Fisher?
Yeah, they just using you.
No, but they treat you so bad.
Yeah.
But even in using you, it's like they make you know you don't have no place here.
You're not equal.
You're not-
like the movie The Handful A. He said, I don't care if he knows Abraham Lincoln. He's still a nigger.
Which Frederick Douglass so-called had a part to play in that more than Lincoln. You know? But we're about prophecy. We're just giving you historical fact based on today with prophecy. Here's your role. You're soldiers, laborers, spies, messengers, and skilled tradesmen. And the woman was slaves, served as cooks, nurses.
Yup.
Nurses, you proud ass bitches with your scrub. Excuse my language.
Jamie.
Excuse me. Because it's not like the average Jake woman is sitting here saying, I'm just a mammy all over again.
Right.
No, she's showing her big ass cheeks with her stupid ass scrubs on, with TLC in the background, dancing on TikTok. So miss me with that shit, man. We are not a nation. We are a hopeful elect as a house of David is being rebuilt.
Yep.
So women were slaves, served as cooks, nurses, and laundry dresses for armies. And I guarantee you they're also getting popped too.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, you gonna get the draws from this soldier, and he ain't gonna make you take them off?
All right.
Come on, man. What you got, bro?
Back in Jeremiah 50.
Yeah.
That's what I have to
Good.
Back in Jeremiah 50 and verse 33, the children said, thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Yeah, you had Gad on one side. You know. Oh, and speaking of Israel, y'all know Tupac. Well, did you know that the one who made the beats was an Issacharite? His name was like Jeffrey Jake.
Oh, wow. I know.
And he was making all the beats for Tupac, and then he mysteriously died in jail.
Oh, shit.
So they silenced him.
Damn.
You know? So Judah and Israel are pressed together.
Wow.
You know? And they target Judah. You know, I feel I have a big heart when it comes to what happened to Judah. I have a big heart what happens to all of us.
Right.
The Pickaninnies, Benjamin, you know, Issachar, Reuben,
Right.
Gad, Ephraim, across the board. You know? You could see specifically their target on Judah, man.
Yeah.
That shit gets me really fucking mad.
Well, it makes sense because Judah's the head.
Exactly.
You know? So it's like the scriptures say, smite the shepherd, the sheep shall scatter.
Exactly.
You know?
Now,
so you gotta get the head first.
my bad. Exactly. You gotta get the head first. Now, you got that in NLT about that one precept?
Yeah, Lamentations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to Lamentations now, because guess what? Now that we got all that history and we got all that pain and trauma addressed, now let's talk about the gospel.
Yeah.
But we're free now. We're free now. So, you know, because some of our people, they stay in that sorrow. They stay in the derby dose.
Yeah.
You know? They're constantly still holding the weight of the chains.
Yeah. That Sam Cooke spirit. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Because he said, I don't know what's on the other side.
All right.
We do.
I had a situation where I was inside a store and the dude was walking with his kids and his son could have moved over. They was walking like 7 abreast.
Oh, man.
So instead of him moving over and letting me walk by, he like, you know, almost tried to walk into me because he knew he was there with his family. And the father looked at me like I was a threat instead of correcting his son.
Man.
So that's Sam Cooke spirit.
Yep.
Is that Sam Cooke, the guy who...
No, Sam Cooke's a singer.
Not Sam Cooke, I'm sorry.
Yep.
the guy who ran into the cop, the state trooper.
Oh yeah, Rodney Hinton.
Rodney Hitton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Yep.
right, like lashing out.
Yeah,
It's-
lashing out.
Right, we're not here to lash out.
Right.
You know, what we're doing right here, Revelation 11. This is the biggest threat than an N-word running into some low-level pawn policeman.
Yeah.
Okay, that aspect is Judah being roused up.
Right.
This aspect is the house of David being rebuilt, and that's the great fear that falls upon us.
Right.
But going back to Sam Cooke, he said, I'm prepared to die, but I'm scared because I don't know what's on the other side. But that's why wisdom and knowledge is your stability, because we do, Sam. We know what's on the other side.
Right.
So let's cook.
Now right here, this is the NOT right here, and it says, in Lamentations 4:21, are you rejoicing in the land of Uz, O people of Edom?
Yep, which is a Babylon. They're rejoicing right now. I went to this Issacharite restaurant, and that shit was filled with Edom. Niggas was loud,
Man.
proud. This one fucking sheet of this bitch, oh, but it was heavy. She's talking about her wedding. So I said, see, we're in the times where what vexes us, we're also being built through growth to see the spiritual example. Instead of you just being mad that this white woman, she's supposed to be doing that.
Right.
But then you think about the days of Noah and say, oh good, rejoice, bitch. Rejoice. I hope you choke on your hors d'oeuvres and then somebody saves you. You know? Just give you a little, just give them something to warm them up. You know? Keep going.
And it says, O people of Edom.
Edom, Esau. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man and woman whose lineage on their father's side goes back to Esau, the evil twin brother of Jacob. Hence why they made the movie The Good Son.
Right. Right.
And Macaulay Culkin was Esau.
Yep.
And fucking Frodo was Jacob.
Right. And it reads,
Because he killed the baby,
Yeah.
which was Abel.
yeah,
Remember the baby died.
that shit was crazy. He's a fucking demon.
Then he said, Mother,
He like,
Mother,
mommy.
Yo, you gotta watch Edom, bro. He's a perfect devil, man.
Yeah. Esau would sabotage your life. He'll fucking taint things.
If
you know?
Esau came up with a punch bowl, they would call it the Devil's Punch Bowl, and it would have bodies in it.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yep.
The Devil's Punch Bowl is coined that because after we got freed, and you know how he frees you? You gotta think when he frees you, that means now you just outside the building. No home, no clothes, nothing to take.
Nothing.
Now Jim Crow, why you on the street, nigga? So he forced
Man.
you to this ravine, and then you got there, and then the same army that fought the Civil War to free you was used to put you in concentration camps where they murdered you, and then now you have peaches that grow in that same ravine that people don't eat because they say it's got the blood of the slaves in it.
Man, it's like the scripture that says that Esau furthered the affliction.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And
That's why you gotta be, get paid double for what you've done.
so black people don't care about their ancestors.
Nope.
All you want is money for what your ancestors went through, right? So what your ancestors went through, you'll say, well, if I'm rich, bitch, right?
Right.
And now I'm buying Newports.
It's like Jacob, you paid off.
Yep, exactly.
That's all they want to do.
Pay off, like,
All they want, because they're sottish.
you just want Newports and lotto tickets and
Yep.
some shit.
And Lotto, a
Yeah.
big brown fat ass.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Lamentations
You got a
4:21.
precept, brother? Okay, okay.
NOT, it reads, but you too must drink from the cup of the Lord's anger.
But what Jeremiah 50 says, what you thought altogether, look at the brains on Brad. What, you thought you wasn't gonna, thought because of the metric system you was good, my nigga?
I'm gonna hold that actually.
You
too.
thought because you liberated black women to be hoochies and hyenas that you're free now? No, no,
Think again, buddy.
eye for an eye, okay? You think you're free? No, you're not.
Like it says in the book of Joel 3, I believe it says that, what shall you do, for me?
Yeah.
So how you gonna pay me back?
That's like the reparation precept.
Right.
That's like you gonna give them money, but I didn't say that. That's how we're gonna call it even.
Right.
That's what you were trying to do. No, you got to accept the judgment of the Lord through prophecy. Hence why this is great fear that fell upon them. Because we're out here. He wants niggas and want reparations.
Yeah.
That's why he sets guys up to just push for reparations.
Yeah.
Control opposition. What's that light, bright Candace?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. And it reads, it says, you too will be stripped naked in your drunkenness, O beautiful Jerusalem. Your punishment will end. You will soon return from exile.
See? So this is spiritual. For us to be put here in Rochester, New York, and then to go through underground railroad stations to hold camp, and then the rain came, and now we're under a covering that's who by a man that so-called freed you.
Spiritual, bro.
It's spiritual.
Yeah.
You know? But remember, the leaders of our people calls us to earth. So we don't use these black notable leaders as and giving credit to us in this position today.
Right.
We don't do that.
Right.
Okay? We actually call them out too. That's why MLK said, I integrated my people to a burning house. We don't want to be integrated with you. I hate living with you. I hate you, right? We hate living with you, working for you. We hate your penny pinching petty ass when we're at work, when we're at the grocery store. I hate going to your stores, all right?
Yes, man.
Should I hate white women too?
Yeah. For real.
Still deal with
I'm tired of seeing red people.
because they don't give a fuck about us.
Yeah.
They want our physical. They want my physical. They don't care about my God, my Savior. They don't care about my salvation, my nationality, me as a God. They don't care about that shit. They just want black rod up and through in them, man. Or a fucking fetish to that, man. You know?
And it reads, Lamentations 4:22 in the NLT.
None of these people care about you, man. Jeremiah 15:5 says, who shall bemoan thee?
Right.
That shit offends me, man. None of these people are here for the betterment for us as a nation. Right. But we know that. But they try to front, act like it. Hey, did you get a plate of fried chicken and mac and cheese? And it's Juneteenth. Man. This Edomite asked Morgan Freeman, he said, why don't you like Black History Month? He said, why do you determine my history to a month? Right. He said, do you like your month? Right. He said, I don't have one. And he said, oh, why not? He said, because I'm, what did he say? He said, oh, because I'm Amalek. He said, okay, where's Amalek? He said, well, I'm white. Okay, so why don't you get a month? Right. Don't see, they subconsciously speak very like passive aggressive to you. They speak down to you while acknowledging your suffering. You know? Fuck you mean a month? And ain't our so-called month in the same month as motorcycles? Isn't it? Most?
Yeah.
Isn't it the same month?
The month after that, I believe.
But it's the shortest month.
The same time. So it just goes to show that Esau don't give a shit about us. You know?
It's like Christmas Eve.
Right.
I had this Edomite, I had a pure blood drunk Edomite because the Lord allowed me to use wisdom at work. This was a couple years ago. This demon, this fucking racist, evil demon, but he was at peace with me because I was using wisdom on Christmas Eve that I had at work, right? But we don't celebrate it, but I don't care. He gave me $100. But he did that because it's Christmas Eve. Right. But then when I went home on Christmas Day, I still got the recording. My so-called white neighbor was calling me nigger from upstairs. Oh, yeah. Yep. And the cops had to get involved. Yep. So what's up with that? Yep. Fuck out of here, man. So Tawadi Al Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakwadash for keeping us sober, keeping us on the trail of glory while we walk through the trail of tears. What you got, bro?
This is the book of James, chapter 5 and 6.
Uh-oh.
Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you.
Mm-hmm. No, that's in context, getting on Jake, but we use that for Esau. Just like when you start at 1, it goes to the woe to the rich man. So see how now, because Esau, to get that knowledge, you just go to Psalms 50 and 16. You took the book in your hand, so now we got precepts to use against you. Like, woe to the sinful kingdom, that was getting on Jake, but now we use it for Esau. See? So take that. All right? Because Esau is a new N-word. Right. But, did you hear Trump said the N-word on national television? Okay, did I already say that? I didn't say it yet. I said that earlier, right?
You said it earlier.
Oh, okay. You know what he meant?
Yeah.
What? Nukes. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Fuck it. We said nuclear. Go ahead, nuke it. Do you know the Soviet Union banned microwaves in 1976? So what the fuck are you doing over here, man? With all this pomp and this priss and this so-called glory, you are shit.
Yeah.
This is the most basest place I've ever experienced, and I don't remember anywhere else.
You got other countries. Here it is. America is supposed to be the top #1 country, but you got other countries like Japan and China, you know, and they're years ahead of this place, you know.
That's because of the elite.
Right.
Because
right.
the elite can't. Because remember, the American dream was is not a singer. The American dream was built off the ideology of pilgrims escaping imperialism from Britain, and we came here, but we had slaves. Oopsie. But their whole thing was like, don't tread on me.
Right.
So the elite jacked up their own people because they're like, hell no, we got bigger plans than sugarcane, nigga. That's why they allowed the cotton gin.
Man.
And then why did they give women freedom? So they could tax you more and interrupt the family unit that's supposed to be a bond against a tyrannical banking elite system.
Damn. Back in Limitations 4:22 in the NLT.
Inflation is controlled by the elites. Inflation was created to interrupt the family too.
Yep.
But let this stupid ass B word say she wants a man with what is it, 6 figures?
Yeah. Dumbass.
You want a man to have the same number in his bank account as your body count.
Limitations.
I'm not even intrigued with sex anymore, man.
Right.
I'm not even fucking intrigued with sex.
Right.
Cause I don't know what you got.
Right.
I gotta throw holy water at you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Garlic. What is this, fucking a vampire?
Man.
Selma Hayek sexy. But you seen her in Dawn of the Dead? They go IUIC.
You seen it, right?
Yeah. But you know why I seen him? Cause I saw purple in a head wrap.
Yep.
The enemy knows you. Jacob's trouble's coming. The mark of the beast is the RFID chip. Keep going.
Limitations 4:22. Oh, beautiful Jerusalem, your punishment will end.
Look, he thirsty to go through that red light.
You will soon return from exile.
Look, Jake's fucking.
Yeah.
It's like 12. He's got the natty daddy. Look, he's got the mower. Remember
Yeah.
he's saying clearing the land.
That's the spirit we just talking about.
See? Behold, you are yet this day in thy captivity. No, you're free, black bald-head man. Nah, we free. We free here.
And then even the Jakes that do so-called make it out,
Yeah.
they're still bound to a contract.
Yeah.
So you're not free.
Covenant with death.
There you go.
You
Right.
sick demon Diddy. I'm not even gonna speak on it.
The diddler.
What I heard a snippet. All I'm gonna say is this is why in Ephesians it says it is a shame.
Yeah.
It is a shame to speak what they do in darkness,
Yeah.
man. You humans are sick. You fucking people are disgusting.
Yep.
You have to come to a point in this truth where you understand the severity of the level of judgment that has to befall this place.
Yes. Whew. And it reads.
And Cassie, you guilty too, bitch.
Yeah.
Where he said, and I'm gonna get you, bitch. She is.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, if you still getting caught up with women in tears, you're not in the right spirit.
Yep.
That's a supplanting. That's a supplanting. Be emotional if you want to.
Limitations 4:22. But Edom, your punishment is just beginning.
Woo!
Soon.
Right now, Edom's in trouble. Okay?
Big trouble.
Hey, they got something up here called the Lilac Festival. Now that's like a fair.
Yeah.
When you go to that shit, you know he's still trying to sell you plastic ninja stars and swords. Like remember back in the day, Mom,
Yeah.
please pay $20 for this water gun.
Yeah.
But now
Right.
when you go there, this nigga said three darts for $20. Three darts to pop a balloon to get this fucking stuffed frog. It's unclean spirits.
Right.
I had strolled through it. You know, I strolled through it I snuck through when it wasn't much traffic. You know, I like the smell of flowers too. Can I have some fucking peace? They smell good, but all his shit surrounding it. See, when you look at like Earth, it's beautiful, but then he pops up and commercializes it.
Right.
So I went there and it's like turkey leg, $20. Everything was trash. hurry, quick, get some funnel cake. Everything was trash. And people were just sitting at these, in these booths like this.
Yeah.
You got gutter problems, you got gutter problems. Ain't nobody listening to you, bro. It's over. The mirth has gone bye-bye.
Yes. Good.
The mirth is gone. Now, not that we recommend it, but now imagine if you go to a NFL game, NBA game. You look around and say, damn. Now it's like you can get a good seat.
Right.
But when the mirth was here, nigga in the back, unless nigga got a ball. Nigga in the back, unless nigga got a ball. Then they said, we'll give you a metal ball. All right? We good. Where are we at here?
Limitations 4:22. But Edom, your punishment is just beginning.
It has begun. The beginning of sorrows. You holding anything? That we're good on Daniel 7. Unless we hit 18. That me towards the end. Can you get Matthew's 24 and go to 8? Which in another translation it says this is the beginning of birth pains. Okay? It's the beginning of birth pains. At my job, because they gave me a fucking shack to have my break in, I sometimes hide in the maternity room where no one is at. And I said, that's the spirit because this is the beginning of birth pains.
Right.
So we take the spiritual route in our vexation.
Right.
You know, shit, even Nat Turner waited until it was a eclipse to strike Esau's ass.
Yep.
Even though that ain't how we gonna get freed. But Nat Turner movie was called Birth of a Nation, and he stormed Jerusalem, Virginia. He stormed Jerusalem, Virginia. And then the dialect, what is it called?
The Hungarian dialect.
No, when they eat Jake.
Oh, the delectable Negro.
Yep, then they ate his body.
Cannibalism, yeah.
They ate his body.
Yeah.
You got that, brother?
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 8.
And Jake don't even give a shit about what we're talking about.
No, of course not.
But they'll care when there's no more occupancy in Bluntville.
Yeah, bro.
You know?
Or unless Esau speaks to him.
You know?
Then he brightens up.
If it's not an Edomite, bro, he don't give a fuck.
So what's that you was talking about, brother?
Yeah, and then you know why? Because Jake is emulating the Jake woman who, through the Willie Lynch letter and the process of prophecies and precepts, has a spiritual bondage to the serpent.
Yeah, man.
You see it.
Man.
They got a mommy complex.
Hey, thank you. And that's why.
What they call it, edifice?
Yeah. We went into it, and that's why Jake, he'll be seeing a woman beating up on a man that nobody says nothing. Soon as that man defends himself, don't be putting your hands on that girl, man.
Yep.
Because he sees his mother. That's a female.
I know somebody that shit happened to. They went to go defend somebody, and then the chick turned around and said, get the fuck off us. I said, I hate.
And that's why you're not supposed to meddle in
Too many affairs.
Exactly.
You know, don't get between a man and his maid.
Keep
got it,
going.
bro.
So, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows.
Some of these Jakes, they show the best smile when they're with Esau.
Yep.
There's something in their spirit through Stockholm syndrome that they have a peace in them when it comes to Esau, man. You can see it. Keep going.
Why is this nigga not grinning?
Why is this nigga not grinning?
What Paul Mooney said?
I like
real.
Paul Mooney.
Remember
Yeah.
the color purple? When Oprah didn't want to, she didn't want to work for the white
Yep.
woman.
Yep.
They locked up and then they broke up. She worked for them.
Yep. Oprah.
Yep.
Yep. I
Now
remember
look
that.
at her.
And now look at her.
Yep.
Bitch fucking sending babies to the islands. But what was I gonna say? We had said what?
About Stockholm syndrome.
And then you said
Why
what
is that
was-
nigga not grinning?
Yeah. So back to Paul Mooney. I just watched a video of him today. He said, "Ain't it funny?" He said, "Ain't it funny that when we were enslaved, we were in his house, we were in his bed, we were on his land, but the minute we got free, he don't want you in his neighborhood."
Yep.
He had 14 jobs for you as a slave, but now that you're free, oh, we're not hiring you.
Yeah.
Look at that shit. And then he said, but then if they brought slavery back, Esau be on the porch and said, "Welcome home.
Yeah.
Your room is just how we left it."
Even today, we got that term called redlining. You know, to like certain person, Jake not like you're not allowed in.
You're not real estate.
The water.
You're
right.
in the world of real estate, they call it redlining, which
Yep.
a white woman told me that. So shout out to that white woman. Might be a Jake. But she had told me that because I didn't even know about it. And then she was going in about how in the housing market, if you are a so-called black man or family, their real estate office or laws, they have to make it higher for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, it's true.
See?
That's why certain places they ask for your credit score.
And then and you're in that as nationality.
That's true.
And then now you gotta go over and where niggas go.
Yeah. And they'll make you pay twice as much.
Yep.
And now you got Esau pushing niggas out.
Gentrification. Which that's how the conception of suburbs was started during World War II.
Yep.
They called it the GI Act. That's why Philly, you know why Philly and Kensington is like that? Because all them Edomites, when they came home, they didn't want to be with Jake, so that the government created an act to send them into the, was it rule? Would that be rule?
The rural areas.
Like country.
Yeah.
And then they came up with those monopoly houses, right? And then they got free grants and loans, but Jake was denied them even though he was a GI.
Right.
That's how suburbs got created.
Right.
That's why Esau's in the suburbs. But when you go into the scriptures, the suburbs was actually given to the Levites.
Right.
Damn, man. Let me read that.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then they shall deliver you up to the afflicted.
All these are the beginning of sorrows. These are the beginnings of birthing pains. America today is not America yesterday, man. When you look at it today, when you look at it when you were growing up, compared to now, look at what people are into right now.
A whole different world.
You know?
Yeah.
You got the black woman with look like a cigarette in her hand with the windows up and a baby in the back seat. Look at this place, man. This place is set up to kill you. It's set up to kill you.
Like you brought out earlier. You know, it will hurt you with a sword destruction.
Yeah.
Jake baby ain't got a chance.
Nope.
Like that movie Victor. You always bring that up.
Yup.
With he came from Puerto Rico and then he got hooked on heroin
Which
in
is-
America.
Which is they should bring their children to the murderers in Hosea. And then that was the what, 1920s?
In 1920s, 1930s,
Right.
around that area.
In that region.
Yeah.
And that's how you got Spanish Harlem. But that's also prophecy too. And then with all this going on, you got women just want to just show off their body and ass as fucking all hell's about to break loose. All hell's about to. This proves them are little ass girls, man.
Yep.
You got women coming out. I could see damn near the fucking spider veins on her ass
Yeah.
because she's got a fucking slit dress on.
Well, look
With all
at-
this going on, it smells like piss and shit. Men are working out, getting ready. The Lord's mustering the host of the battle, and look what this fucking half of brains doing.
Yep.
Brothers, we're
Like it's F92 and 15.
we're not in the time to be on a pussy patrol, man. You got to be locked in. The Elder Ariella said, man, get in shape and forget about everything else.
That's it.
The Lord allowed me to go on a 7-mile bike ride yesterday.
That's inspiring, bro.
You know, Wadi Abashim Shai Bashim Kakwada.
That's amazing.
To go on a 7-mile bike ride instead of just coming home and sipping wine and being mad.
Right.
You know, you got it.
This is Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 15. This is the rejoicing city.
And look what they rejoice in. And the downfall of our people. They really are rejoicing. Psalms 83 goes, Rev 11.
Yeah.
They're really rejoicing because they're still over us.
Right.
That's why he micromanages you at work.
Right.
Okay? Bro, the job that the Lord gave me, I've been there like 7 months. They had a review because I'm subcontracted. Okay? So they had a review, and this fucking Edomite, the only thing he could find was, well, he needs to have his shirt tucked in. Motherfucker.
But you're doing a great job.
Yep.
You're doing everything you gotta do and beyond. And he says, tuck your shirt in.
So why you haven't tucked your shirt in?
Right.
That's
You get numerous complaints. Your shirt's not tucked in.
Because they furthered the affliction.
man.
They're fucking overseers.
See, that's why in our kingdom we're gonna be petty with our judgment too.
We're going to be powerful
No,
with our
right,
judgment.
Exactly. Petty, powerful. Because Esau, man, he's just a low-level demon.
He's just low level. And you could feel us seeping through his hands.
Man.
You know? Because really, he's just got his hands on 2/3.
Right.
The elect are free, man.
He has 2/3 minds right now.
Right. Because you were going into that Corinthians, blind the
Yeah,
minds.
Exactly, yep.
But that's why 2/3 are part of the browsing up. Because the way Esau handles you, he makes you he makes you I'm a real nigga, man. Like he make you like if you start talking and your hand is like this,
Right.
like you done broke him.
Right.
If he's literally like this, yeah.
It's not. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's real.
Yeah.
It's like but it goes back to that that hatred.
Yes.
You know, Genesis 3.
Harass.
Yeah.
Amos 11. He pursues his harassment, so you get annoyed, and that's what the devil does. He wants to push the buttons to overthrow.
Yep.
You know, Satan has desired to sift you.
Yep.
We can't be carnal, man.
That shit is pitiful.
Yep.
Esau
real
turned
quick.
Jacob to the modern nigga.
Yep.
Oh, you got friends.
You got some?
You got friends that
Okay.
first.
All right.
I got the one you quoted earlier.
Okay.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 15. This is the rejoicing city.
Yup, bro. When you go to work, bro, you would think that this is 1993 Babylon.
Man. For real.
Laughing, woo! Giving awards. Yeah!
Yep.
Everybody's thinking they're gonna fix it. AI's gonna help us. We got these ideas. Black woman comes in, gets an office. Fuck you, black nigga.
Yep.
White man sitting in her office. I wanna fuck you, black woman.
Right. Damn. This
Come
is
on,
hell.
man. Fuck out of here, man. I'm glad the Lord allows us to see.
Man.
I'm glad the Lord allows us to see. And we're calling you all out, man. That's why shame is going to befall 2/3 of our people for what they've done for the enemy in captivity.
Yeah.
Oh, it says spies.
Yeah.
Esau sent you as spies. I had this fucking Ephraimite questioning me what time I come into work. First of all, nigga, I don't work for you. Like I said, I'm subcontracted. So you're only asking me because your overseer told you to ask me.
Yep.
Fuck, and then they still call us boy. Why are we the only people that are still called boys? Grown as hell, man. I was born in the late 1900s. I'm gonna be 30-something so-called soon,
Really?
and you still calling me a boy? Make that shit make sense.
This is verse 15. This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly.
Yep.
That said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me.
Yeah, I'm the best. I'm the best around, right? I'm the best. But guess what? China right up there with you, because China's got to be a part of the MOTV agenda as well.
Oh, hell yeah.
You got a lot of hey, bro. You know why Japan has the cleanest streets?
Yep.
But you know why Japan has the cleanest streets?
Why?
Because they had a tea attack in the early 90s in the subways. So to prevent that again, they stopped putting out public trash. Oh, and guess what? In France, when it comes to lunch, do you know that they can, remember when you were in school, you went to lunch?
Yeah.
And you all sat there and fucking ate like the Bebe's kids?
Yeah.
Well, in France, they consider lunch like a class. So it's like an hour, and it's to teach you proper etiquette,
Wow.
how to eat food and share with others.
Wow.
That's what they
Wow.
do.
And that's the scriptures. The scriptures
See?
say about that. Wow.
So why don't America model themselves after that?
Damn. This is the worst country ever.
Yep.
This is the worst captivity.
In Japan, the students clean their own classrooms in school to teach them about responsibility and ownership.
Wow.
But then you go to a nigga school, you go to Babylon, it's gang signs, pregnancy tests, and fucking, urinals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, Moab's got a urinal. When you piss, it reads if you got anything wrong with you, depending on your urine.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah.
They got automatic ass cheek covers, so when you sit down, you don't transmit nothing, and then it automatically changes for you.
This shit is literally base.
Thank you.
And that's why it
This shit is
says
the basis of the base.
exactly. What's that? Daniel 4:17.
Yep,
This shit is so fucking primitive, man.
yep.
Like, damn.
It's on my spirit to look at other countries and how they operate. Why? Because the Lord is purging us to be prepared to be rulers and leaders. There is a government being established.
That's why he mocks us. And he has that Geico commercial with the caveman.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's showing who he really is.
What precepts we got?
I got Jeremiah 49 and verse 12.
And what were you reading?
I was reading Zephaniah 15.
Okay, finish that. Careless.
Damn, man.
This is
like
chapter
crazy.
15. And I am
Oh, in India, in Dubai, they allow you to have a business, but